Welcome to the 2015 Warren Wilson College Commencement. Our guest today, Kim Jordan, is the co-founder of one of the country's most progressive and innovative companies. New Belgium Brewery is the country's third largest craft brewer and is currently making a major investment in Asheville by building its East Coast brewery and distribution center right here in Asheville. We're excited to have Kim as our speaker this morning, however, not only because she's one of the most successful entrepreneurs in the food and beverage industry. We're also excited because New Belgium models the kind of corporate behavior we wish we could see in every successful and growing company. The company has a strong commitment to environmental responsibility, and its attention to the well-being of its employees is a major factor in consistently making it one of Outside Magazine's best places to work. I understand that in developing the site for its $140 million brewery, the company looked not only at the quality of the water and the efficiency of transportation, but also at ensuring that many of the brewery's employees would be able to bike to work from surrounding residential neighborhoods. Kim Jordan grew up in California and in Washington, D.C., attended a Quaker high school and Colorado State University, and worked as a social worker for low-income single parents in Colorado. In talking about her decision to found the company out of her basement in 1991 with her then-husband Jeff Lebesh, Kim wrote in Fortune magazine, "I agreed to start the company because I'd hate to think we were too afraid to try. It's important to say yes to things if you can. I figured we could always go back to day jobs." In 2012, Kim and the other major stockholders sold the balance of their shares back to their workers to make New Belgium 100% employee-owned. By then, it was worth over $175 million. The company's commitment to good corporate citizenship continues to deepen, and Kim has remained a passionate advocate for environmental stewardship, good management, and work-life balance. If anyone models Morgan Williams' call to think big, work hard, and live balance, it is Kim Jordan, and we are thrilled to welcome her to Warren Wilson College this morning.
Thank you so much.
I'm going to help you down that step.
The big one. Good morning. I want to see your pretty faces. Good morning, graduates, parents, family, and faculty, and thank you to President Solnick and the Board of Trustees for asking me to be here today. I want to start with a woohoo. We're going to start with the graduates because this is your day. You made it from those first scary freshman days where you were wondering if you'd really made the right choice, through last night's raucous celebrations at the town pump and I'm sure many other establishments throughout the area, and into your highly organized alphabetical seating arrangements for this festivity. So if you would humor me here, graduates, let's hear a big woohoo. Woohoo! Nice work, thank you. And families, especially parents, your worry is over and you get to move on to the next parental worry. So let's hear a woohoo from parents and their families. Woohoo! Thank you, that was helpful for me. I admit that I spent some time researching commencement speeches, and there are two agreed upon truths. The first is that you won't remember much of what I have to say today, which is some kind of weird comfort. And the second is that commencement speeches should never, ever last more than 18 minutes. So my duty to keep you in suspension is not too onerous, and your race to the finish is almost upon us. Let me start with the first bit of bad news. I did not bring beer for our celebration today, and I'm sorry about that. In place of that, I want to wander through some things that I've learned personally and through this crazy experiment that is New Belgium Brewing Company. I hope these are helpful to you as your own crazy experiments spool out in front of you. My career trajectory was completely non-traditional. I've been a caretaker of a racehorse ranch, a school bus driver, a bird surveyor, a small mammal trapper for the Fish and Wildlife Service, a firefighter, a short order cook, a bartender at a bar called the Town Pump, and an academic advisor at a community college. That last one is funny, given all of the jobs that I've had, kind of like the blind leading the blind. But each of these prepared me for this broadly generalist role of CEO, and they also helped me to be fearless. In my work for the Fish and Wildlife Service, I worked in the remotest regions of northwest Nevada. I walked a live trap line every morning early to see what we'd caught from the night before. For several mornings in a row, as I was releasing the night's catch, I'd noticed that there was always this rattlesnake lurking around the same live trap. Seemed he was waiting for his fast food breakfast to pop out of the box. Being worried for my safety and the safety of my crewmates, I decided we had habituated this snake and we had the potential in the dawn's light for an early morning incident. I brought an axe on my next day's walk and chopped the snake's head off. These were less enlightened times, to be sure. Of course, I wanted to honor the snake's life, so I brought the body back to our cabin. Turns out that cold-blooded animals can writhe for a very long time before they quiet. I skinned it, ate the meat, tastes like chicken, with a great long cage of bones, and made a hat band with the skin and the rattler buttons for my then cowboy hippie boyfriend. It was, as we say in today's lingo, a use of snout to tail. So here's my first bit of advice. Get out there, do some things that don't lead to anything in particular. If nothing else, there'll be vivid memories and impressive stories for moments like this. And more importantly, they will add to your own vital energy. Before Jeff and I made a single barrel of beer as New Belgium Brewing Company, we went on a hike in Rocky Mountain National Park. It was a beautiful bluebird day. We took our notebooks, we sat on some boulders, and we wrote down our dreams for what this baby company could become. I'm a social worker, and this was like heaven for me. All those vivid words, all that potential and aspirational energy. My brand new husband, an electrical engineer, was, I'm sure, a bit bemused, but there was a hike involved, so he was winning too. I speak in a lot of MBA classes, and when I admit that as we made this entrepreneurial leap into the little-known world of craft brewing, we didn't have a business plan, but we did have core values, I can see the professor thinking, there were lots of accomplished and interesting business people I could have chosen who might not have unraveled one of the holy grails of B school, the business plan. But there you have it. What might that non-existent business plan have said? Well, it would have been smart to have done some market research and to have known more about the business dynamic of the brewing industry. And we could have made up some things about sales projections and pro forma EBITDAs to impress the bank. But we were flying by the seat of our pants. We had grit, we had tenacity, and we had those core values. We said that we wanted to produce world-class beers. We wanted to promote beer culture. We wanted to be environmental stewards, and we wanted to have fun. That first one, to produce world-class beer, that makes me laugh. Here we were, we hadn't yet made anything but homebrew, and we were saying that we wanted to be known for making world-class beer. And you know what? Today, we make world-class beer. And we're environmental stewards, and the culture of beer in America has had a whirlwind trajectory of its own. And most of the days have included belly laughs and a palpable sense among all 625 of us that fun is our birthright and that we are on to something. And that's my second learning, getting really clear on what matters to you in this life. In my case, both as a business entity, but also in the mashup of my personal life, can have profound implication and impact. We have 10 core values now. We measure against them every year with our coworkers, and we reference them as we sort out our strategy. We want to make sure that we're doing things that matter. Make no mistake, I am not a fan of platitudes and slogans, and business speak makes me crazy. Don't even get me started on empty gestures like Employee of the Month parking spaces. But having your own personal Magna Carta, a written document that reminds you of what's essential in your life, can serve as a gentle nudge or sometimes a sledgehammer when the new shiny object of the moment distracts you from your best self. Like when one is contemplating deflating the footballs or putting grandma's life savings in some ridiculous and self-serving pyramid scheme, or treating your fellow Americans as if their lives don't matter. Even the best intentional lives can become squeezed or stalled or just plain locked up with fear. You'll have done some brilliant things, you'll have your eloquently worded value statement, and you will find that there are times that you are in a spot. And you will be right where you are supposed to be. Everything to that moment brought you to that place, and it's the perfect place from which you will strike out for the next thing. I hope you'll remember that line, I am right where I am supposed to be. This is not to be confused with an electric blanket, which you turn up to mother to ignore the reality of your situation or console yourself for an overly long time. And it's not a get out of jail free card. Whatever is next is guaranteed to be scary and hard work, and you may have to hang yourself way out in the breeze as you make the leap. Somehow, though, I find I'm affected to my very core by knowing that life will unfold just as it's supposed to. There's a corollary to this, which I swear I learned as the human development theory of recycling. For today, it's called Kim Jordan's theory of second chances, and it goes like this. You will get a do-over. That hippie bumper sticker from the 70s comes to mind. It's not too late to have a happy childhood. If you are consciously committed to a big and wondrous life where you're honest with yourself and others, you will get to try again. Got fired from your job? In your next job, you will know so much more about yourself and others. Wish you'd been a better parent? You can be a better parent to your adult children. There are two essential tools to make this work at its finest. One is knowing how to really feel and say, I'm sorry. The truly heartfelt apology is the greatest gift to the receiver and to the giver. And the other tool is being able to say, I blew it. Most of us find these inexplicably hard to do, and I'm here to tell you, if you master these, you will feel a measure of lightness and freedom that will surprise you and will serve you for all of your life. A few years ago, I was at a Vassar College graduation for my stepdaughter, Lucy. I was sitting in the secondary grouping of family next to a very stiff great aunt who, let's just say, was not a woohoo type. There was our kid heading across that stage to have her big moment, and I so wanted to let her know that I could see her and that I was bursting with pride for everything she'd done that led to that moment. I wanted to yell, yoo-hoo, with all of my lung capacity and all of the happiness that I felt for her. And yet I chose to do the right thing and stay silent, and I was instantly sorry. We started this commencement with our own celebratory woohoo, which was cathartic for me, but it was also scary. What if you didn't follow? What if your response was tepid? I should have known better at Warren Wilson. What if we were both afraid and I looked like a fool? But you did yell, and I thank you for that. More than catharsis for me, it was practice for you. For the thousands of opportunities in your life to do the unexpected thing. It's easy to do what falls within our social mores, but we often have a hard time busting out, even when all we're doing is being our authentic, joyful selves, to say nothing of standing up for what we believe in. There will be impromptu woohoo moments, expressions of your unbridled happiness, and there will be life-changing, really important moments where you will have to decide if you are going to challenge firmly entrenched conventional wisdom. Or maybe they will be acts of omission. when that still small voice says, this isn't right, and I need to stand up for the thing that matters. Joyful or compelling, bring on your best, truest, most congruent with what matters to your soul's self. Make sure you don't get so caught up in doing the right thing that you lose your woohoo. Keep it close at hand, okay? Thank you. The narrative of each generation is unique to its time and also recurrent with themes that span the ages. We're driven to actively improve our lot in life. My last learning is a bit of a public service message on the power of business, and as I'm speaking at a liberal arts college, I feel compelled to add that business needs more influence from the liberal arts and people like you. Yes. At New Belgium, we have a platform that not only attracts attention, it might be the beer, but it also allows us to be a learning laboratory for changing hearts and minds. We can let our corporate life speak and model ways for what we hope is a new kind of business as usual. We can use words like love and profit in the same sentence. You are my kind of people. I suspect that many of you grew up in a family similar to my own, albeit in a slightly different time in the country's zeitgeist. In my family, we were not business people. We were liberal community organizer types who boycotted grapes and walked with Cesar Chavez. The profit motive was something to be suspicious of. For me, it was destiny that I stumbled into the world of enterprise, and I know that this is wildly simplistic, but one of the most wonderful surprises of this journey has been learning that we can use profits to do all kinds of important work that's also congruent with our values. The statistics on environmental degradation and wealth redistribution have changed so significantly and alarmingly over the last decade and a half that it will become an issue of global stabilization to be solving problems with our fellow citizens. Great concentrations of intelligence and material resources occur in private enterprise, not to mention heart. And as long as we're not solely focused on profit maximization, turning a blind eye to our externalities, I believe that the strength of business make it a structure that's well suited to address intractable social and environmental changes. For us as sustainable businesses, the three constituents of the triple bottom line, people, planet, and profits, are complementary. It's easy to think in terms of trade-offs, but really to gain traction, you need a business model that makes success in any area contribute to the success in all three. Our strategies are aligned with our environmental and social goals so that we're not profitable in spite of our progressive practices, but because of them. I am sorry that I didn't bring the beer, but I am really, really sorry that my generation hasn't been the steward that we might have been. We need you to engage yourselves in these challenges in any route that suits you. And I'm just saying, business may be a more interesting route than you imagine. This is the perfect day for your graduation. You are ready. You are so great and capable and beautiful. We have unalloyed faith in you. Thank you and congratulations to graduates and their families. Thank you.